Today on the Hopefulist, finding the extraordinary in every day. The perfect example of if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And a glorious reunion with my podcast partner.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, October 14th, 2019. It is day 32 of Gotta Get on Ellen. I am back live, the first live and posted podcast since October 4th. It's been 10 whole days. Did you miss me terribly? I missed you terribly. Now, we had gone to the Outer Banks. I've mentioned this several times, so you knew where I was. I did leave you some pre-recorded blog posts to go over and to keep that daily dose of inspiration and positivity coming at you, even while I was lying around with my coffee, pumpkin flavored, watching the sun come up. We had a couple of rainy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not the greatest days. Monday was awesome. Friday was awesome. Saturday was looking good, but we had to be out of the house by 10 a.m. But we did have a nice, long, leisurely morning on Saturday before we went. We actually were not leaving that house until 10 a.m. We were not going to leave the house. We're like, we have this house till 10 a.m. and we're staying for every last minute. I have to tell you a little bit about the stars. I've had the honor and privilege of visiting the Outer Banks numerous times. I'm going to have to say this was at least my fifth or sixth time in the Outer Banks, maybe even more than that, because I've gone with family, I've gone with friends. If you want to see a show in the sky, head to the Outer Banks. You will never see stars like you see them in the Outer Banks because it's so secluded. There's no light pollution. I'm telling you, the most amazing time for viewing for this trip was Saturday morning when we got up the day we were leaving. The best time to view the stars is not at night because they're still like trying to get to their brightest and all that. You know me and Joe get up super early. We got up about 5:30 on Saturday morning. And the stars were just amazing. So bright. So many of them. I'm telling you, it is a scene from Out of the Lion King. The original cartoon version when Timon and Pumbaa and Simba are laying there looking up at the sky and they have the conversation about what those bright things are on that black thing. Where Timon thought that they were fireflies. And you think that that's something that's just drawn because it's in a cartoon. I'm telling you, the Outer Banks are practically the same. So if you ever get a chance to go, make sure you get up early one day. And, you know, the sun's been rising pretty late. It hadn't been rising until after 7. So you really it starts to get light about a half hour to an hour before. So you really do need to get up a little bit early. But if you haven't had the pleasure of enjoying the Outer Banks, I encourage you to go at least once, and you will absolutely love it. It was my sister's first time there, and she just can't stop gushing about how amazing it was. She said that the house that we had and the view that we had, because we were right on the beach, rivaled her trip to Hawaii. And even my brother was like, well, come on now. Let's not go too far. But she said, as she put, I didn't stay on the water in Hawaii. I'm on the water here. And the houses are all so amazing and beautiful down there. And we had a small little house. For OBX standards, we just had a 5-bedroom house. Most of them are like 8, 10, 12. So there's no Well, there's not many little shacks around in the Outer Banks. But we had some adventures. We got stuck on our way in the sand. There was a guy that was turning into the access road that we were turning, and we probably should have just waited for him to go, but we've kind of followed him in, and he slowed down. And he was in a big, huge pickup truck. So when he slowed down, he was still able to get through the access road because it's kind of lumpy. It kind of had like a big dip. But we got stuck. So tried to back up, couldn't do it. Tried to go forward, couldn't do it. Sent a text to my brother, and he was like, I'm on my way. So we had gotten a tow rope, and we had brought our shovels, and we could not find a spot to attach the tow rope to the front of my car. How could they make it so difficult? I don't know, but there was a house about 2 houses off the access road, and I saw them looking at us for a while, and at one point he just waved at me, so I waved back. Somebody waves at me, I waved back. I guess that was a signal to him that we needed help. He shows up, he's like, I got reinforcements coming, I got somebody with a tow rope, we got shovels, and I'm like, we have all of that. I'm like, we're just not sure what to do at this point because we don't have a place to really hook the tow rope. So they ended up just pushing the car backwards out of the stuck spot in the sand, and then we managed to get up and go to get over the hill to the access road, and it was fun. We were good, and it was so nice of them. There was about four guys, I think, that came to help us, and I'm like, come on over for a beer. They're like, oh, no, we got plenty of beer. I'm like, okay, all right, well, thank you so much. And then we had a little bit of a harrowing drive on Wednesday. Again, one of the bad weather days. Super, super windy, and you know what that can do to the tides. In fact, we had a lot of flooding here at home that luckily Joe and I got to miss. Thankfully, my neighbor tied up the kayaks, moved my plants. We didn't know something like this was coming, so I do appreciate that. But on Wednesday, we had gone off the beach. We had to drive 9 miles on the beach to get to our house, and we had gone off the beach to get some dinner, do a little shopping. When we came back, there was literally like no space to drive on the beach. The tide was so high, the waves were going right up to the dunes, and my brother was driving my car. So I was a little worried about all of us, and I was a little worried about my car. But we made it through. It was a long ride. It was a harrowing ride. We all had a nice big drink when we got back to the house. So all in all, a great trip. I think my point was my sister had never been to the Outer Banks before, and she just fell in love with it. And that's what I told her. I'm like, everybody does. Everybody falls in love with the Outer Banks. This is why you see the OBX stickers everywhere. It's a big Jersey destination. I'm not sure why, but I know tons of people that live in this area go down there. The beaches are much better down there just for the fact of you can drive on the beach, you can fish on the beach, you can drink on the beach, you can take the dogs on the beach. There's just not all those rules that Jersey has. So, aside from all of the sights and the adventures, I won the rummy game this year. Oh, woo, woo! I know I'm going to get pushback on this because we stopped, I believe, Thursday night, and my brother called the game. He goes, I'm going to bed. This is it. This is the last hand. I'm like, all right. I was ahead by 5 points over my brother, I think, and we just never picked up the game again. So, I'm calling it. I won that game. 5 points. I haven't won a rummy game, and I don't know how long. So, I also wanted to mention that I have a great example of if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. We had gone off the beach, like I had mentioned, to do a little shopping one day, and I saw, and I had been looking for this early on when it first came out, and I couldn't find it. So at the grocery store, I saw the Vogue magazine September issue, which we all know the September issue is the biggest issue for all of the fashion magazines because it's, showing you all the fall clothing lines and the trends and what's in and what's out. And Vogue, of course, one of the biggest magazines. So this was a doozy, but it had Taylor Swift on the cover and an interview with her. And I had been looking to pick this up because I love my Tay-Tay. And the magazine was $9.99. And I'm just like, I just can't justify spending $10 on a magazine when I'm really only going to read the article. I might page through the magazine. I haven't as of yet, but I did read the article. I didn't get it when we went to the store because I actually picked it up. I put it in the cart, and then I put it back. I'm like, nope. And the thing that annoyed me the most was the October issue was already out. So it was already out of date. So I decided not to get it. And then the next day, we needed to drop my sister off to get her rental car because she was driving to Washington, D.C. to meet up with her hubby. And then she was going to fly home with him. So my sister's back home now after more than 2 weeks away from home. So welcome home, Michelle. And when we did that, my brother and I stopped off to just get a few more things at the store. And I saw the Vogue magazine again. And you know, I must have been lucky enough to have a cashier that was like kind of management or something because I just walked up with the magazine. I was like, look, this magazine is already out of date. The October issue is already on the shelf. This is September. Do you think I can get a discount? He goes, well, how much is it? I said, it's $9.99. He goes, discount done. Gave it to me for $4.99. What do you know about that? So I got my magazine. I paid a magazine price for it. In fact, the October issue was $7.99, so I paid even less than a normal magazine. Always ask people. The worst they can say is no. So I got my Vogue magazine. I read my article on Taylor Swift. I am all good to go. So I also wanted to mention that when we did leave, I left my girl, my podcast partner, with my cousin Jim, who is my go-to dog sitter, always takes good care of my girl. And when Joe and I had gone on our cruise back in December of this year, she stayed at my cousin's house that week as well. When we got back from that trip, it was pretty late, and I think that we just interrupted her in a deep sleep because she really was not. I mean, she was like, hey, look, Mom and Dad are home. But she didn't seem like overly excited or I'm like, really, Tucker? It's been a week? Nothing? Well, she made up for it this time. She was so excited to see us when we got home. In fact, my cousin Jim was a little perturbed. I had left a pair of shoes in his living room. I'm not usually like that. I meant to leave them in the bedroom upstairs. But apparently I left them in the living room, the shoes that I had worn the night before to a party I'd gone to, and I meant to leave them there. I didn't want to take them with me to the Outer Banks. They were boots, and they had heels, and I had no intention of wearing anything like that in the Outer Banks. Flip-flops is the most I will dress up in a beachy area. So apparently Tucker had been lying by my shoes all week, and Jim even put the shoes like in the shoe basket, like away, and he said that she just went and sat next to the shoe basket then. So he put them back out so she could be a little more comfortable on the floor, on the little mat area, the little rug. So, yeah, she was very happy to see me. If you did not see the picture of our reuniting, it is on the Hopefulist page. I think it's on the group page. I'm not sure. It's either the Hopefulist page or the Hopefulist group page. So, and then the day we had left for the Outer Banks, which was last Sunday, my cousin Jim listens to the podcast every day. He hears me talking about leaving the notes for my husband and vice versa. And he left us a front door's worth of Post-it notes all over the door. And some of them were pretty hysterical, telling me that he would take good care of my girl and that he wished he was coming with us and to have a great time. Tell Joe and Linda he said hello. And my favorite was when he said, leaving my beach house to go vacation at the beach. Ugh. Again, design your life. You design your life, and you won't need to take a vacation from it, because that is what I'm going to go on to. Today is getting back to normal, getting back into my usual routine. I'm ready. I am definitely ready to get back to my normal routine. I love my routine. Now, I'm very lucky. I'm working from home now. I call the shots. I schedule my days. I do everything the way that I would like to do it. But this is how I find the extraordinary in every day. So as great